The nighttime lighting really makes the garden look quite different compared to the usual look of lush greenery. Things are much more calm. Being that it's so late, the lack of students around probably helps. The odd one or two can be seen scurrying to and from the dorms, trying to the most out of their approaching curfews, but no more. All that can be heard is our footsteps, in addition to Lily's cane regularly, gently tapping the ground in front of her. It's nice to finally be able to relax a bit after a mad rush during school. Without even noticing it, I let out a small yawn. Tired? Yeah, still getting used to the flow of things, I guess. The, thing with Lily took me kind of off guard, though. I grit my teeth a little at the candid mention of their rather public spat. This said, I do want to sort out what in the world was behind it. About that. I'm sorry about it being so public. Shizune and I go back some ways. Her voice seems slightly irritated as she remembers Shizune, obviously unwilling to discuss it any further. I glance at Hanako for her views on this, but her expression is unsurprisingly evasive and difficult to read. Either way, I guess her apologizing for it is something, even if my curiosity goes unanswered. I'll be glad once the festival is over in any case. A change of topic's welcome, clearing the thickening air quickly. I can imagine. My old school's festivals were a lot more low-key than this. Yamaku stresses the idea of a school community, so the staff likes to make our festivals and such special occasions. Yet the students are the ones who do the work. What an unfair world. Hanako and Lily both chuckle in agreement, savoring the fact that none of the staff are around to hear our grumbling. I suppose coming from a strict all-girls school helped me a bit with Yamaku. Compared to there, Yamaku is much more relaxed. That'd go away towards explaining her well-bred speech and behavior in any case. I'm going to guess that Shizune and Lily came from the exact same school. I'm taking a wild guess there, but that's what I think. As we come up to the dormitories, it eventually comes time to leave for our respective rooms. See you, Lily, Hanako. The two both give polite nods before setting off to the women's dorms, just next to the guys. Okay. As is to be expected of such an arrangement, there's a staff member casually patrolling around outside to prevent any nighttime shenanigans. Walking past them, I quickly stretch my arms and rub my neck, both quite sore after having worked on the floor for so long, before walking to my room. It feels good to actually have direction, though. After so long in the hospital, the everyday facts of studying, homework, and teachers seem almost a blessing. I guess if things continue like this, my time at Yamaku might turn out okay. Adhering to the nurse's nagging voice in the back of my head, I set my alarm clock to wake me up early enough to go jogging again. I made a promise, and I'm going to keep it. Besides, Emmy is bound to rat on me if I don't show up. But it's not all that bad. Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. Loading screens. My morning alarm goes off and I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I decided to give morning runs another shot. I don't know if this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. This is about my health, after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that hasn't made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? If I can't manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Once again, it would appear that I'm not alone in my running. Emmy has apparently been here for some time. It looks like she's already worked up a good sweat. Just when the hell does she come down here anyway? Oh, it's you. I'm surprised to see you again. Why's that? Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try. She frowns, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought. Like the rest of the track team, for instance. Still, it was only supposed to be a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. And I guess it's pretty early in the morning. A shrug, and suddenly it appears that she's forgotten that she was what she was talking about. The frown disappears entirely, and she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought. So, come on then. What? You're here to run again, right? Well, yes. So come on! I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling, while Emmy moves with an effortlessness that I find inviolable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. I know I should be patient, work towards things gradually, but it's difficult to stay positive about this. We run the track and start on our second lap. Emmy seems to have grown impatient, keeping pace with me, and begins to pull away. This is where I gave out yesterday. Will I be able to do more? You know what, let's go for it. What am I doing here? Am I really just going to fold and let Emmy pull ahead? I speed up. A second lap's done quickly, and without even considering it, I keep going. Emmy looks back over her shoulder at me and grins. Still going? Wouldn't want you to think I'm out of shape, pant. Emmy laughs without breaking her stride, no less, and speeds up even more. Well, if this is the way we're going to play things, I increase my own pace as well. Oh gosh, am I gonna die because I chose that? Oh no. I can feel my lungs burning, my legs are starting to question just what the hell I think I'm doing. Lactic acid screams in my muscles, but I close my ears. I can't let myself fall behind, because that would be a loss. Well, you have gone past your limit than you did yesterday, so that's pretty much a win in my eyes. A gradual buildup of doing better than you were the day before is a good thing. The rational voice in my head inquires mildly just when we started playing a game. I'd answer it, but I'm having a lot of trouble thinking at present. She's so fast! It's like a string pulling at my chest, a choking feeling of nearness and pain. Before I can think of anything else, then, oh, beep! The track disappears from under my feet. I stumble, one hand shooting down to the clutch at my chest, the other hitting the track to keep me from falling on my face. Emmy rolls around and her eyes widen. Hisao! She yells at me, sprinting from the other side of the track. What's wrong? Nothing, I just... Keep your breathing steady. Calm down. Don't panic. Don't panic. Do you need me to get the nurse? I close my eyes, shutting out the outside world. My heart struggles to regain its rhythm. Slowly, the pain in my chest begins to subside. Soon it's gone like nothing happened. It was nothing? No, something happened there. I open my eyes again and glance at a very worried Emmy. I think I'm fine. My voice sounds weird even to myself, oddly even and matter of fact. It makes Emmy frown. I don't think you are. She seems to come to a decision and nods to herself. Right, you're coming with me. You've got to see the nurse. Emmy grabs my arm and drags me up. I feel a bit wobbly, but I refuse to shoulder Emmy offers for support. Honestly, I'm a little shamed by my own weakness. I'd really rather not have Emmy concerned about me, but it seems to be too late. Heck, I'd really rather not have anyone concerned about my condition, though at this point it seems to be too late for that as well. I like to be able to deal with the whole thing on my own, without being a bother to anyone else. While I'm wishing for things, I'd rather not have this condition in the first place. Ooh. That felt weird. Nurse! Hello, nurse. Emmy crashes into his office without knocking, but it doesn't alarm the nurse in the least. Good morning, Sunshine. What's up? Sunshine. Anyway, he calmly sips on his coffee mug before laying it down after following Emmy's gaze to me looming in the doorway. Sal, what brings you here? We were running and he stumbled over and started grabbing at his chest and I thought... Easy there, Emmy, calm down. Hisao, what happened? I don't know. We were running and then my chest started hurting like that time before, but it went away after a few seconds. It was just a flutter or something. The nurse frowns as if to say, just a flutter is some kind of oxymoron. I didn't mean quite this when I suggested you get some exercise. You've got to be more careful, Hisao. Okay, I should have chosen the gone easy. Okay, I understand. I was being careful. Come to think of it, I just got into a race with a member of a track team. Doesn't seem as well reasoned as I thought it would. You just what? That is, I was racing Emmy. Emmy, is that true? Emmy fidgets, looking adorably contrite. Well... I think you gotta move my stuff a little bit. Finally, she can't seem to bring herself to say it aloud and merely nods. The nurse sighs and rubs at his forehead with one hand tiredly. Emmy, you've got to be more sensitive to the limits of others. I don't know if he told you, but Sal has a bad heart, and getting him to race you was incredibly irresponsible. Actually, I started it. The nurse is stunned by my statement. You what? We were just running and Emmy started to pull away and I sped up to catch her. The nurse stares at the ceiling, mutters a prayer for patience to some god or another, and looks back down at both of us. So you're both stupid. That's a comfort, I guess. Now come on, Estelle, I got to make sure your heart's not going to explode or something. I dutifully obey and follow him to the adjacent room where we ascertain that I am, in fact, not going to kneel over and die. So how does it feel? I don't know, nothing much. Tired, but it might be just from the exercise. You should stay here for a few hours and rest, and we'll see how you feel after that. I'm not going to object, so I lie down on the infirmary bed. A thoroughly miserable Emmy comes in after getting an earful from the nurse in another room. I couldn't hear what he said through the closed door, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasantries. Look, I'm really sorry. I should have been more careful. Hey, you didn't know. It's not your fault. She looks awfully down and sorry, and with my reassurances don't do anything much to cheer her up. I want to make it up to you. Again with a decisive nod. So you have to come to lunch with me. I'll bring it for you, okay? Something really good. I start with you don't have to, but then shut up and just nod at her when I see her face. Good. We meet on the roof. We? Yep, the weather's not nice now, so the roof's a great spot for lunch, you know. I see. You'll come, right? You wouldn't deny me the chance to make it up to you. Of course not. Great, see you there. I stay afloat somewhere between asleep and awake, feeling completely drained. Not only my body, but all of me is limp and paralyzed, apart from my senses. I swallow with difficulty and then try to lie as still as I can, which in this state is not a very hard thing to do. The nurse is shuffling around on the other side of the curtains he drew to give me privacy. I could see his shadow shifting about in the sunlight. He had opened the window of his office. It's windy outside. The clean white curtains flutter in the breeze in a heavy, lazy motion like waves. Light sifts through them slowly, half absorbing into the fabric. I close my eyes. The breeze on my face feels like a soft fabric of the curtains. I listen to the sound of my heartbeat for a moment, trying to shut out the sound of the nurse tapping away on his computer, and my own heavy breathing. It's steady. Dang it, not even a week and I end up like this again. I really screwed up this time. Should have known better than to play the half-baked sports star in front of a real one. And why did I try to act brave like that heart flutter was no big deal, even when it was obvious that it was? It was just a reflex to push it away, to keep it inside. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want Enemy to see it. Ah! Stupid, stupid, stupid! Baka, baka, baka! I have to be more careful, or I will end up in a hospital again, or worse. That's my final thought before I give in to the tiredness. Aw, I didn't get the loading screen again. I fell asleep for how long? What time is it? I'm feeling a little lightheaded and I keep blinking compulsively. Pushing the curtains aside, I scrape my eyes against the unfiltered light pouring in from the window. The texture of the canvas feeling... I'm sorry about that. Texture of the canvas feeling nothing like the wind did before. The nurse looks up from his work, sitting exactly where he was before. How are you feeling? I can't really tell, so I don't answer anything. I'm feeling kind of groggy from falling asleep at such a weird time. Hopefully I don't look too weird. What time is it? Me croaking the answer to game or orientation. The nurse looks at his wristwatch before answering. Things seem to happen in slow motion. 10:15. I tried to think for a moment what that means, but I'm not really sure. You didn't answer my question, Hisao. Oh, fine. Climb down from the bed then, and let's see how you're doing. Don't. I try to do exactly that, only to sway dizzily when I move too fast. Yeah, getting up too fast actually makes you a little bit dizzy for a second. The nurse moves to support me by an arm and sighs. Stand up too quickly is what I'm going to say. Just sit there. I'll check your pressure to make sure. My good intentions sure last for a long time. I shut up, embarrassed with myself, while the nurse gets busy with an old-fashioned contraption in my arm. After a couple of minutes, he puts it away, looking neither pleased nor happy. Unpleasant nor happy? I don't know. I read it too fast. You're alright. Head stop spinning? Yeah. Good. And how are the contents doing? You didn't show very good judgment out there, Hisao. I swallowed the retort I was going to make. It's what I was thinking myself, but hearing it stated by someone else makes me want to protest. What he's saying is not pleasant to hear. Doesn't make him any less right. No, sir. He nods, still looking as natural as he was before. It would be easy to be angry at him if he said "told you so" or something, but he didn't. He doesn't. I can try and help you to keep your health, but ultimately the last call lies with you. Hopefully this little episode will be something that'll remind you of that. Here's a note for your teacher to avoid an interrogation. I take the slip of paper he's offering and then make my leave, as I can't think of anything else to say, or even really want to. Stay out of trouble, you hear me? I don't think it was anything but a scare, but next time it could be different. I hear you.